Wow, yeah, okay, this energy today and right now, whenever this message finds you, is wild. Sorry, this is like a little crooked. If you hear chewing in the background, we have Aslan here. I tried to find a good time to film, and it's this morning before we got on our walk. Here's Duchess. We're in Ireland. So, I just saw something how NASA was commenting on 3i Atlas and how it changed colors for the third time in an, I think the word was artificial way, but it's like a foreign way. And so we're starting to recognize more and more and more that this is not an ordinary comet. And of course, you have to lean on the side of, not alien invasion or whatever in the beginning of these new objects. But what I feel and what many of us have been feeling is that this is, it's so bold to say this, and this is just what I feel, and this is just what I've been downloaded with for a long time now. Like for the past year, this message started coming through a lot for the past few months, especially when I got to Ireland like 4 months ago. This is the end of time and the beginning of time. The end and the beginning. There are no ends without beginnings in this expression of creation, experience of creation. So, there's like some doggies coming. They're such a cute little couple. So this is the end and the beginning, the timeline split, the Great Awakening, the 5D shift. We're shifting into this 5D consciousness, leaving the typical 3D world where it's more about identity. Like the third chakra is all about identity. It's about self. This world has been operating in in self, in a very much like looking out for yourself kind of way, healing yourself kind of way, like just focused on what you want rather than remembering. And like the greatest illusion in this reality is separateness. So rather, we're not remembering that we're all connected. We're all one. And we are infinite beings having a human experience here on earth. And so the message that has been coming through this morning that I was supposed to come on and talk about is how important right now it is to like have your extreme, I don't know if extreme is the word, but like your strong muscle of awareness for many reasons. The first part of this is with this timeline split, with your timeline jumping, especially if you're in dream life sleep hypnosis. I just got this DM yesterday, and I just loved seeing this one because it is so life-changing. Like it's been so life-changing for me, you guys. Where I'm headed right now, next after this, in a week or so, give or take, is completely different than what I thought. Like my timeline, I'm going, I think pretty positively. I know where I'm going after Ireland, and it is going to be a new adventure. I'm really excited. I'm like so lit up in my soul because I finally became really honest with myself, with my hyper awareness almost of like what we were talking about in the video yesterday of like being so honest with yourself and honest about what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you desire. And are you trying to force something to work because you want it to work, because you don't want to let people down? And if you're doing that, you're trying to like take all your interests and all your likes and all your hobbies and all your desires and all your everythings and trying to force it into this timeline and make this one thing work, it's probably not that one thing. And so this requires like great awareness and honesty with yourself to then ask yourself, as you're timeline jumping and you're stepping into your version of the new earth and your version of the new timeline and with all the upgrades. And it might look different. I think that's the really important part of this, is that it might look a lot different than you thought. And it's okay to change. It does not mean that you weren't spiritual before. It doesn't mean that you made the wrong turn. There are no wrong turns. Sorry, I just had some water. If I sound kind of like sick almost. I just woke up and like literally just woke up. I do legging curls. And this is also a reason why I try and film right now in the morning because it's so humid here. So as soon as I take them on a walk, my hair like flattens and I'm like, well, there is no point in doing the legging curls. So I'm not sick right now. I think that I just sound like this when I'm staying in a new home and there's like new things and candles and everything, and so I'm a bit sensitive to those things. So your desires are meant to be the things that like pull you in a direction, but never are they meant to be like the ultimate thing. Like maybe sometimes like you're pulled into the direction of your soulmate, and that ends up being your ultimate partner in life. But typically it's like your desire brings you here so that you can see from this plane, and then your desire brings you right and left and straight and like all these different ways. They're just guiding you. And so we don't want to get too attached to one idea, to one timeline. And so I think too, something that I've learned with the dream life sleep hypnosis is that, and I share this too in the course, is like don't put anything in there unless you are certain of it. It's better to say, like, rather than saying I want a house in Italy, not want, but like, you wouldn't say want, it's like I am in my house in Italy. You would say I'm in a beautiful house that makes me feel super inspired and expansive. Because when you do this in manifestation, it allows what's really meant to come through to come through. And even if it's so interesting because even, you know, myself, I thought for sure Italy, and I think that I was like lacking a little honesty with myself. But always at the end of my manifestations I say, if it's for my highest good. If it's not, then I allow it to be something else that is beyond my wildest dreams. And like I've shared, it's been like thing like manifestation that is in alignment with Italy, and like calling me there, like, you know, the farm owner being like, you know, here's a baby horse for you, and like, which is such a generous offer. And then I think my guides were like, ow, careful, he's got the bite force of a lion. He's just chewing on his bone and I was holding it. And then I think my angels and guides were like, no, not now. And so the owner of that baby horse decided to keep him. So he's not coming to the farm anymore. So I don't feel as much urgency to get back. I would like to get back and see Ladybug and Indian Zima, but I also have a feeling that I'm meant to be somewhere else, like I was sharing. Like, and I wasn't really sure what it was. And so the hyper awareness comes into play where it was like, that specific progression that happened, it would have never happened had I not like been intentionally aware. And so I had seen a photo, I shared this in my last video, I had seen a photo of Hawaii, someone's photo of Hawaii, and I was like, wow, it's so beautiful there. You know, maybe I should have lived there. And then I was like, oh, well, I don't know where to go. And like I checked every single home in Italy and nothing was sparking that like that feeling that you get, especially as a generator in human design, but like that yes feeling, which was so strange. I looked at every single listing in all the regions that I was looking in. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not moving to Hawaii right now with all my animals. So I was like, okay, we'll just see what it is. Probably less than 10 minutes later, I open up my phone and then I see a photo of my friends, and they're in Portugal with like a very similar background as the Hawaii photo. And I was like, oh. And then partially, I think this is reticular activating system, which is the part of your brain that when you start noticing something, you start noticing it more. But the other part is, I think, divine guidance. So I've been seeing Portugal everywhere now. Every time I like click on something, it's like, there's a photo of them in Portugal and blah, 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 blah. And it just has been very seamless and very easy. And like the doors have been opening up really quickly as I've been leaning in towards to maybe choosing to go there. Oh, my little baby. This is like his binky. It's so funny. And so I think that that's what's going to happen for a lot in this time, is that you might be pulled into another direction through your joy and your curiosity, and to give yourself that freedom. I was even hesitant to tell the people, like just people in my life here in Ireland, that change, because I didn't want, a part of me didn't want to seem to, you know, this way, that way, this way, that way. But then I was like, no, I fully accept that this is my path. And then when I did that and when I did share it, it was like fully accepted and everything. So it all starts here, is accepting that it's okay if your path changes. It's okay if you go into a new direction, even though you were so certain it was this way. I feel like I'm meant to share this dream, like it keeps showing up in my mind. But last night I just had such intense dreams with listening to my sleep hypnosis, but it was just, there were so many, it was like all the intensities of this reality, like they kind of all showed in a sequence of my dreams. And then I remember jumping through a portal, which is like, it was so vivid. And I jumped through with this person who was like meant to be with me through that jump and like support me in that jump. And as we like went through the layers of the portal, and I remember all the layers, and I remember being like so buddy with this man who jumped with me, but it was not like a romantic man. And the way that he looked and feels, now I have my guide, my guardian sitting over my shoulder, but he's one of my guides that comes through a lot, and his job is literally to protect me and guide me like a ninja in the corner. And he was doing just that as we were floating through this portal. And then we arrived like on the ground after going through all these like black holes and energy things. Come here. Come. We're going to just leave Arlo alone right now and not play. He's doing a lot better. He's settling a lot. So if you guys don't know, he's a Kangal. He's almost 8 months old. And when you take, well, a puppy at that age is going through regressions normally, especially livestock guardians. And so I took him out of the environment of our land, which someone was like, why don't you just stay? It's like, I don't live here in Ireland. Like I came here just to visit really for now. And so he was very anxious, but he's starting to settle a bit, and I think he will be really settled once we see the van again. So jumping through that portal and then arriving in this new timeline was very interesting, and I think that's happening collectively. Yeah, so if this message found you, I think that means that you've probably gone through this portal too, because of what's happening right now with this three-eye atlas and the other object too that is now being seen. I don't think it's alien invasions, but of course I think that it's upgrades. I think that it's, you know, it's a galactic federation of some sort. I think that there's different, what I've been shown is that there's different groups of beings from all these different star systems, and that this one specifically, there's like Pleiadian, Nocturian, Andromedan, Lyran, maybe some other ones too, Syrian. But, you know, that's just what I feel. No one knows, but I think that it's because everything's about to change on Earth. And your manifestations are going to be amplified right now. And your signs and your guidance, I think, are going to be more clear than ever. I also think that your whole life might change really quickly right now, like we've been talking about. And I think it's time as well to let go of whatever is in your way and whatever you're attached to. Like how we were talking about, like being attached to a specific idea of how life could be, and also maybe something that's already in your life, like being really attached to something that's already in your life. Like when you can be in full surrender and embrace the void, embrace the crumble, then that is where you get birthed out into the new. Isn't it so funny that like this room isn't that dark, but it always looks pretty dark in these videos right now? It feels like the last bit of like the birthing canal. It just feels like that. You know, I never in these videos, I think it's just symbolic. Like I never look very dark, but it feels like I'm in like a little last bit of the womb. But also with that is that I've been wondering, you know, so many people are messaging me like, is your van fixed? Is your van fixed? And when I brought it into this new mechanic, he's great, and I'm really grateful that he came to my family farm that I've been on, and he looked at it and he tried out my theory and everything, and we found what's most likely wrong. But he's been taking so long. He said it would be maybe 24 hours, and it's been like a week and a half now. And had he not done that, I would have gotten in the van and probably been in Italy right now, and I would have been in a completely different timeline. So if you feel like you're being held and still in that void, like the last bit of the void of the birthing canal, even though you thought you saw like the door open and you got a little taste of it, and maybe some of your manifestation started coming through, that is all part of the design. And it is because you're meant to see this, like these last signs that change your whole life. And it can be as simple as seeing a photo of Hawaii on Instagram and then a photo of your friends in Portugal. Like those, sorry, Duchess's scratching is very loud. Can you not do that right now? Those things, even though they're small, it's like they're not that small because they can change your whole life. It's so interesting always when I think about this. Like with Arlo, when I was going through a breakup 4 years ago, I needed some like emotional support, of course. I went on Facebook and I was looking for emotional support. Like I just wanted to see cute puppy photos, and I was in some puppy Facebook groups, really, because I had this habit of like going and looking at cute photos whenever I felt down. And I saw Arlo's face while I was still living with my ex, and I had no idea where I was gonna go. I was maybe gonna quit my job too. I was maybe gonna buy a van in California. And I saw his face, and it was that instant, that heart, that body, yes, like, oh my gosh, I've known him for a million years. Like he felt like he was part of my soul. He's here. Uh, and I was like, I have to go get him. And so I immediately told the breeder, don't fall. Oh, are you okay? I don't think that we will be recording at this time of day again. You're so sweet. And so anyway, that little choice, right, to go on Facebook, to get a little emotional support, changed my whole life. Like, you know, he was the first of my many animals now. And it's these little desires, like that little moment is what you're supposed to trust. Even if it's like not something that you normally do, like maybe you don't normally go on Facebook and look at puppy photos, maybe you don't normally scroll on Instagram and whatever. It's like they're very similar examples, but it's whatever you're normally doing. Maybe it's like you get the inspiration to go to a different park or a different grocery store, and then you meet somebody who tells you something weird. It's just pay attention to the conversations that are happening around you. Pay attention to all the signs that are available to you, and keep asking your divine team for signs and messages, and saying open the doors that are meant for me and close the doors that aren't meant for me, if you have the courage to accept the crumble, because it's so powerful. Every time I've ever said that prayer, God, open the doors that are meant for me and close the doors that are not. And it will redirect your life quickly, very quickly. So the upgrades are happening. We are jumping through that portal. We are in the birthing canal. We are leaving the void soon. We're just gathering the last bits of information. I'm gonna go take these puppies on a walk. Yes, I'm gonna go be crazy. If you want to sign up for my sleep hypnosis, I have it linked in my bio or in the description. Look how big that paw is. We've got the same size paws. If you had fingers, we would have the same size paws. I also have my 21-day programs and my 12-week program, Decondition, and they're all linked below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.